One of the joys that I have as the president of the Amarillo Children's Home is getting to watch God work in the lives of kids, in the lives of adults, getting to see Him change their lives and redeem their past and take bad situations that are tragic and really turning them into wonderful, incredible stories. One of those great stories is Jennie. We have a house mom that was actually a kid that lived here at the Amarillo Children's Home when she was a child, and to hear her story is just she had a rough, fairly tragic story growing up, and to know her and to hear her story and to know who she is and who she was back as a child, and to see God change her and now use her in the life of kids has been an amazing story for us.
I was at the Amarillo Children's Home from 1978 to 1990, so 12 years. My mom went through a lot of abuse. There were 6 of us. My twin brother died when we were 18 months old, and so we all got taken away. The earliest memory of foster home I have is when I was 4. It was an abusive foster home. There were 2 boys there. I think they were her own kids. It was little things at first, like I would get in trouble for everything. I don't even know really what for. Getting your head flushed in the toilet, getting beaten with shoes or belts, sticks, whatever. And then into the shower. I always got stuck in the cold shower, and then from the cold shower, get put in the toy box. The boys would come sit on the toy box and beat on it, and beat on it, and beat on it. And I'd finally, I'd lay in there, scream and cry, and then eventually just go to sleep. But I remember a lady coming, I'm assuming it was a caseworker, and there was a heated argument because my hair was really long, and I got in trouble, so my hair got cut off like a boy's, and I guess that kind of unfolded everything. And so I got to the children's home, and I was scared to be in a different place, even though it was going to be a better place. I didn't know that yet. One of the things I remember, besides being excited about my siblings, was it was weird sleeping in a bed, because that's not where I usually got to sleep. And it felt almost uncomfortable, weird. I was as bad as I possibly could be. I think probably because I wanted, even though I didn't want people, human contact, I still, I guess, was seeking attention. So I did everything I could to be horrible. I was angry. I was probably the angriest child I've ever encountered. And I didn't know how to, I didn't know how to fix it. I didn't know how to not be angry. I constantly felt like a time bomb, you know?
Having watched kids come in and out, I can imagine what it was like when Jennie came to the Amarillo Children's Home, and how scary it is to be in a new place and to be placed into a new location. And oftentimes our kids come and because of what's happened to them in the past and the abuse and some of the neglect that's happened to them, they come and they're just frightened. And when they're afraid, they oftentimes act out in anger. And so one of the things that we do is we give them a soft place to land. We give them a place where they can come and learn how to be different and how to act differently. And we accept them for who they are, wherever they are, depending on whatever's happened to them. We're thankful that they're here. We want them to know that we love them and we care for them, and that whatever's happened in the past is not who we think they are and who we think they're going to become. And so it's exciting for us to get new kids and to go through that process of letting them be who they are and not being scared of them, not being pushed away, but continuing to reach into their lives.
It's actually the kids that make the tougher choices are the easier ones for me to deal with, because it's like looking in a mirror. So one time on spring break when I had to leave, not take a kid with me because of their choices, and then I get back and she's blowing up at me, and I just look at her and I'm like, "You're not angry, you're hurting." And then she just busts out in tears, and that she was just hurt because she wanted to do that, but she knew her choices got her not to go. So angry kids are the easier ones for me to deal with because I get it. I know it's not really about anger, it's more about the pain inside.
My heart breaks for Jennie when you hear her story, and knowing her now is different, but to think back on her story and to think about all that she had been through and the continual confusion and frustration in her life. She had been at the Amarillo Children's Home for quite some time, and then the state placed her in an adoptive situation, and that adoptive situation was not a good situation. In fact, had some abuse involved. After some time in that home, the state realized that this wasn't a good place for her, and she returned to the Amarillo Children's Home. And at that time, she found out as a result of that placement, she was pregnant.
I promised that I would be the best mom ever, so I just decided to be different than my mom. And as crazy as it sounds, I'm really glad that I went through everything that I went through, because I do feel like I don't think I would be the mom that I am or the house mom that I am if I hadn't had that kind of pain. So I always wanted to come back to Amarillo Children's Home. I'm like talking to God, getting some strange looks, and I'm just like, I don't know what to do. And I was like, if you want me to go, just give me a sign. I was like, you know that I don't usually get things very clear, so you have to tell me in a big way. It's got to be a sign that's big to let me know that I need to come back here. And so I'm pumping gas and I look up, and then there's the truck, the diesel in front of me at the diesel island, and there was a sign on the back of this truck that said, God trying to tell you something. So I was like, okay, going to Amarillo. When I came back here is really when I found myself. It changed my life. I became brave, less shy, but still shy. And I get to be a kid a lot, which is something I never, the way a kid is supposed to be. So I found my childhood again. We try to make spending time as a family a priority, just whether it, from the get-go, so that they don't feel uncomfortable, whether it's playing games or whatever, but time is really the most, just spending time and talking with them. A kid making it to the children's home is, I don't know, they're the lucky ones, because if you don't get to this point, if I hadn't got here, I probably wouldn't be here. So I think getting to, even though it's not, when you first get here, you feel like it's not ideal. Sometimes I tell the kids when they're like, oh, I don't like it, and da-da-da, I'm like, you're lucky to have got to this point. And then sometimes they'll even see kids at school and they're like, they have a rough home life and they're glad that they're here. Since being back at Amarillo Children's Home, I think I've taken care of around 45 kids. I felt like I was going to change the kids' lives, and it's really been the opposite. They've completely changed mine.
I wasn't exactly as sweet as I am now. I was really, really closed off, and she welcomed me.
Me and Jennie have a bond together, and she's like the adult I can come to.
She's fun, and that she brightens my day.
She's been through the same things we've been through. Man, I actually got somebody I could connect with. I know who she is. I know what she's been through. I know what I've been through. She knows what I've been through. If I'm crying, she's crying with me inside her heart because she knows what I've been through.
I call her grandma because she treats us like we're her granddaughters. I got separated from my brother, and grandma told me that she told me not to worry because no matter what, we're a family here.
I don't know how to explain it. It's living with a normal grandma. She treats you like family, and family is the most special thing to me.
She means everything, and that I would not be where I am today if it wasn't for her.
One of the great things about the Amarillo Children's Home is we know that this is God's will. We know that God's will is to take care of kids who don't have families. And so when people come to work here, they are called to work here. And Jennie's one of those people that was called to work here, that through her life, through God's work in her life, it was clear that this was where she was supposed to be in life, that she had a purpose to be here. And as she came here and she began to work here, one of the great continual stories of her life is that not only does she change kids' lives, but her life is being changed through her involvement here and through her time here. God is continuing to work on her and to change her and to make her the best version of who she is. And she is blessing not only our kids, but other people in her life as a result. Jennie's life is the story of the Amarillo Children's Home and how God uses all of us in his redemptive story.